This week could be pivotal for the silver price and the gold price. We could be heading into waters which are much more favorable, much more calm than what we've been used to over the last few years. I want to talk to you about the big Fed rate hike decision on Wednesday. We're going to hear from our friend Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve regarding interest rates and monetary policy. And there's nothing else that affects the price of silver and gold on a short-term basis like the Fed. And I think we've got a big pivotable, a big pivot ahead of us, right? You know what I'm trying to say. I think the situation is changing right now, right before our very eyes. We may not be able to see it, right? We may not, it happens slowly, and we've been kind of desensitized over the last couple years because the Fed has consistently beaten down the price of silver, the price of gold, the price of platinum for that matter as well. But now things are changing. Things are different now. We can look no further. Here's a great example than the last federal monetary interest rate decision. They paused. Look, Lynette Zhang said it the other day several times, and I agree with her 100%. Do you agree with her? We need to look at what the Fed does, not what they say. We've covered this ad nauseum, right? If we listened to what the Fed said 2 years ago, right, we would have no interest rate hikes right now because 2 years ago, they were saying we aren't going to raise rates until the end of 2023. We know that was not the case. We know that as silver and gold investors, we struggled over the last 18 to 24 months because the Fed did raise rates. So we don't want to listen to what they say. We can pay attention to it, we can consider it, but what we really need to watch is what they do. And what they've done at their last meeting was paused. Now, I'm going to give you a prediction of what I think is going to happen this coming week. And I'll even offer you a prediction of where the silver price and gold price will be 1 week from right now. That'll be next weekend after the markets had a couple days to digest what's going on. And I think this time in particular, it's very important to let the market digest what the Fed does. Okay? Look, everyone's expecting a rate hike, and I will make this first prediction. They will hike rates on Wednesday, and they will hike rates 0.25%. If you disagree with me on that, put it in the comments and tell me why you disagree with it. But at this point, the Fed is all about confidence and trust, right? People have to have confidence in the Fed. That's the only thing that the US dollar is based on. And the Fed has made it very clear that they were going to raise rates at this coming meeting. So we're going to have an interest rate hike, okay? I also think that what they communicate is going to be right in the middle of the road, right? They're not going to have any real surprises, either on the fact that they raise rates or, more importantly, what people pay more attention to, what their projections are, their dot plot and all that techie stuff that we don't really get into. But the meat of the matter is the press conference afterwards, what they communicate. That will also be very middle of the road, meaning no big surprise like, oh, we're going to be more hawkish, which would send the price of gold and silver tumbling, but also no big surprise on the dovish side either, that they're going to be looser with monetary policy. They don't want to let on to that just yet, but we're going to talk about that more just a little bit because it's very, very interesting. So we're going to get this just pure middle of the road Fed meeting, okay? The price of gold and silver might move around a little bit on Wednesday after the meeting. Gold maybe. When I talk about gold, I'm talking about silver. I'm talking about platinum as well. I use gold as the catch-all. Although those three metals are definitely different in many ways, overall, I'm referring to precious metals. Won't have a big, huge reaction on Wednesday. But it gets real interesting when we start to consider as the market digests. Guys, precious metals look into the future. Okay, they don't look at what's going on right now. They look around the corner. And then they try to look around the next corner as well and factor in everything that's going on. And when they do that, what they see and what they're going to start to see on Thursday and Friday of next week, they're going to start to wise up a little bit. Their spidey sense is going to start to tingle, right? We're going to start to see positive movement in silver, in platinum, in gold as we move into the latter part of the week, because people are going to start to wise up. They're going to say, the economy is slowing, right? We get news from every corner. Commercial real estate is dying. The transportation industry. I was talking last night to one of my neighbors, very smart guy. He works in the mining business, believe it or not. Not silver, gold, or precious metal mining, but he deals a lot with moving things around. We were talking about how the trucking industry, the rail industry, is suffering right now. What does that tell us, right? Trucks move products, move the finished products, move the supply chain throughout the country. Trains, same thing. If they're suffering, that tells us that despite what the government may be telling us about how the economy is doing so great, right? Joe Biden's economic miracle, that the reality is much, much different out there, unfortunately. If you're a truck driver, let me know, right? But the people that have reached out to me, truck drivers are saying, it's tough. The rates we're getting paid. It's not like 3 years ago. I remember being on a road trip with the girls. We were going to Wisconsin and stopping at a rest stop, and there were all these brochures everywhere for, hey, get into trucking. We need truck drivers. We'll train you. We'll do everything under the sun. That's not the case anymore, okay? You'd go to the truck stops to get gas and there'd be booths with people trying to recruit truck drivers. That's just not the case anymore. The economy is slowing down, okay? Sure, they're going to tell us that, inflation's only 3%, right? Well, that also is good, right? I know it's an upside down world. Gold and silver are a hedge against inflation, but on a short-term basis, when inflation is down, that means the Fed is likely going to have to get to a point where they'll have to shift. So inflation is down officially. And think about this. I want you to read between the lines. If they're officially saying inflation's down, all right, they control these numbers. There's a website called Shadow Stats that you can go to if you want the real inflation numbers. But if they're saying inflation's down, they're setting the table for the fact that the Fed knows inflation isn't really down, but the economy is really slowing down, and they're going to have to let off a little bit on this hawkish monetary policy that's been killing the price of silver and gold. So that's what we're going to see next week. That's exactly what's going to happen, according to me. I could be dead wrong. Maybe you feel differently. I'm going to hop into the, hey, Buddy Rumble's here. Good to see you, buddy. Tyler Jordan says, I am wrong. Yep, that's okay. You do not have to agree with me. I don't want you to be mean to me or anybody else, but you don't have to agree with me. Palladium has low RSI. Very interesting. Relative Strength Index. That's a technical indicator. Stephen Cecchini says, not in Canada. Gas cars are here to stay for years, says Tyler Jordan. Yes, GM Ron and Coin Shop Chris. Oh, good morning. Is Coin Shop Chris? I don't know that he's on here. I couldn't contact him this morning. I'm sure he's okay. Maybe he's cuddled up with his golden teddy bear. I don't know. Guys, that's what's going to happen, right? That's my prediction. Now, Buddy Rumble has a crystal ball. Maybe Buddy will share with us what his thoughts are on what's going to go on this week, if he has an idea. But we're going to get this middle of the road, but the cool part, the fun part, is the market waking up. Everybody's starting to put the pieces together. You've probably already started to put the pieces together, right? But everybody else, the other 98, 99% of the people start to put the pieces together. Okay. Sure, we have high employment, right? But even that's starting to slow down. I'm talking to people that I know in the recruiting business, in the tech recruiting business. I spent some years in that business back, 15 years ago. I own my own company. I still know other guys that own their own company. They're even telling me in the tech recruiting field, things are starting to slow down. The big companies, right? St. Louis, we have like MasterCard, Anheuser-Busch, Boeing, Bayer, used to be Monsanto, Emerson Electric, big companies. So we get a feel for kind of the blue chip hiring, and it's starting to, slow down. Now. Think about this, guys. Think about this. We're slowing down right now. As we head into the next 3, 4, 5 months, we are going to start to feel the effects of all those previous interest rate hikes. I got news for you. We haven't even started to feel it yet. Like, I don't drink, but if I did, right, and you and I were sitting around and we slammed 6 beers in 5 minutes, right, we're not going to feel it right away. It's going to take a little while to hit us. And that's exactly what goes on with these interest rate hikes. So as we move into these coming months, we're going to have, look, things could get really, I'm not going to lie to you. I think, and I don't want to scare, I don't want to be a doom and gloomer, but I think in the next 6 months, we could have some very brisk, harsh times in the U.S. economy, in the world economy for that matter, because we have one of my favorite fancy words, right? We love our fancy words here in Ron's Basement, confluence. We have a confluence of factors geopolitically in the world. We do have a war going on right now, let me mind you. We do have the world splitting in two right now, let I mind you. We do have the BRICS having their huge meeting. What is today, the 23rd? It's less than 1 month. Less than 1 month from today. We have that going on. We have the U.S. economy, which is teetering right now. We have the U.S. fiscal. Fiscal means our government financial management situation, which is horrendous. The debt, they're scrambling. Foreigners don't want to buy our debt, right? That could send interest rates even higher in the markets. So as all this comes together, we could be heading into a very difficult time. And how does Jerome react? This is where it gets interesting. How do you think Jerome's going to react if we head into a bad recession? God forbid, a depression. What do they do, right? What do they do? You know what they do. Tell me what they're going to do. I want to see who can guess it in the comment section. Hello, old dirty bastard garage. Hello, buddy Rumble. Could big companies be buying gold and silver? That's a great question, buddy. That's a great question. Tyler Jordan likes Agnico Eagle Mines. I've heard good things about that company. Good morning, George Andrews. What do you think Jerome's going to do? Think out 4 months from now. If we have a big recession, if we have a depression, right? I'm not saying we're going to have a depression. I do think we're going to have a big recession. Oh, this is where it gets interesting. You know what? Our old friend Janet Yellen, she came out last week and she said, I don't think we're going to have a recession. And I'm thinking, yeah, Janet, do you believe in Santa Claus? Do you believe in the Tooth Fairy? And do you know, guys, do you know right now, okay, this is not real hard to understand. We have, we're going to put our thinking caps on. Okay, and I'm going to make it real simple for you. And then you can brag about this later when you're at the country club or the neighborhood pool or at 7-Eleven getting yourself a Slurpee. Okay, but this is so critical to understand. It's a basic economic concept. We have an inverted yield curve right now. We have an inverted yield curve. Welcome to your Ivy League econ class, an inverted yield curve. And that sounds like, it's very simple to understand. What that basically means is, traditionally, if you want to put money, we'll make it real simple with a CD. Let's say you go to your bank. Let's say you have 10 grand and you want to buy a CD. Traditionally, the 1-year CD might pay 1%. And the 5-year CD would probably pay a much higher rate, like 5%, right? That's normal. The longer you tie your money up, the higher interest rate you get because you're taking more risk, right? That's a healthy, normal yield curve. The further out that you tie your money up, the higher the interest rate, the more you get paid for doing that. Do you know that right now it's inverted? And there's something critical about that, okay, that has always been the case. Right now, if you put your money into a short-term CD, right, like a 1-year CD, you're going to get a much higher rate than if you tie it up on a long-term CD. It's inverted. It's upside down. If you want to tie your money up for a longer period of time, you get paid less money. Now, that doesn't make sense. Whenever in history the yield curve has been inverted, we have always gone into a recession, or it's been an almost perfect indicator. What's crazy is right now the yield curve is inverted at such an extreme level. It hasn't been this bad since 1980. Remember what happened to gold and silver in 1980? You might want to look at the history books. Pull up a long-term chart of silver and gold. As a matter of fact, when you compare a 3-month treasury bond, right? You want to borrow money from the government for 3 months, you're going to get paid a much higher rate loan them money for 3 months as opposed to 10 years. The difference between a 3-month rate and a 10-year rate, the 10-year rate is lower, much lower. That difference has not been so extreme since 1980. And an inverted yield curve like that tells us that absolutely we're heading for a recession. And guys, okay, what does all that mean for silver and gold and platinum? What that means is Jerome Powell panics, right? Everything's fine right now. Do you feel it? How calm everything is out there? Everything's okay, right? There's nothing been going on now for like what? 6 weeks, 8 weeks? Look, I don't know if it's going to happen this week. I don't know if it's going to happen this month or next month, but we're going to hit another crisis. And what do we know about the crisis? Think about this. This is interesting, and it's scary. It should scare you as well, okay? Because the economy, because the monetary system, because of all the debt, right? The government debt, the corporate debt, the consumer debt, all those numbers at record highs. The system has become more and more extreme, out of balance, and fragile, okay? Very, very fragile. So think about now we've got little crises popping up, and they're happening more often, and they're more extreme, and they elicit even more extreme reactions from the Fed, which is always printing money. That's why we don't, I don't like it. You don't like it. We don't like it. I don't like the situation that our leaders have gotten ourselves into, but it's the fact. It's what's going on, right? They have to print, right? Think about, just to put this into context for you, this little banking crisis we had back in March and April, remember? It's like not a big deal. Nobody talks about it anymore. Why is that? Like they papered over it. They had an emergency meeting. Jerome and Janet got together over the weekend on a Sunday. Maybe it was a big deal. I'm going to put this in context for you about how extreme and big things have gotten. And nobody talks about this, but we talk about it. Those 3 banks that failed, 3 of the 4 largest banks in the history of the country, the dollar value of those banks, just those 3 that just failed 3 months ago, the dollar value of those banks was larger than all the banks that failed combined during the entire great financial crisis. So you're going to tell me everything's fine. I know, I understand. Right now, things do feel calm, right? They papered over, right? They printed a little more money, but the reality underneath the surface is much, much different, right? It's like a volcano getting ready to blow, right? It is building up and building up. And, maybe I'm wrong, right? I don't want to be, I don't want to be a complete downer. Maybe I'm dead wrong. Maybe we can just print money forever and ever and everything will be okay. We'll all have CBDCs and we'll all live happily ever after. And I'm dead wrong because you know what? I'm often dead wrong. I don't think I'm dead wrong. You can check with Susie about that. She'll be glad to tell you how often I'm dead wrong. Tyler Jordan says the printing can stop. We need a depression. Yeah, that's what happens if the printing stops. They can just keep diluting, printing, and furthering. Eventually, mathematically, when it all becomes worth less and then worthless, the printing does stop. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this, please give it a thumbs up. I'd like to get to 100 thumbs up. This was a snap Sunday morning. So important. I wanted to get this information out to you. I would like to get to 100 thumbs up. Super chats, never expected, never. But I am viewer supported and always appreciated, but not expected, okay? Only if you have money and you feel generous. Wow, 200 of us together on a Sunday morning. Somebody had a great question I wanted to get to. Yes, Thomas Drellick. Hello, Thomas. Thomas asked the following. Does these inverted yield have anything to do with banking liquidity? Like they need money now. J.G. Windworth style, it's my money and I need it now commercial. That's an interesting question about the banks. The banks, the Wall Street Journal had a great article a few days back about the banks. Okay, the banks are in big trouble for three reasons. Number one, they're having to pay you and me a higher interest rate on our deposits, right? The bank is competing against treasuries that are paying 5% on a 3-month or a 1-year basis, right? Against CDs that are paying much higher rates. They need your money, so they have to pay a much higher rate, right? And that's an expense for them, okay? On top of that, all these banks have all these bonds that they bought with previous money you'd given the bank over the last 5-6 years, and those bonds are worth much less, okay? Again, it's the inverse relationship between bond yields and bond prices. As the yields go up, and this is so critical to understand, guys. And I studied money, I studied accounting at DePaul University, one of the best accounting schools around. So I know I have an unfair, but I'll try to make this real simple for you to understand. There's an opposite relationship. As interest rates go up, the value of bonds go down. And you may be asking, well, that doesn't make sense, Ron. Explain that to me. Well, I'm going to do that for you right now. I paid tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm going to give you this information for free here in the basement. Let's make believe, okay? Let's say you've got $100,000. and you want to put it into a bond, and you go out on Fidelity.com or Vanguard, or you call Edward Jones or whatever, and they say, oh yeah, Mr. Smith, I can buy you $100,000 1-year U.S. Treasury bond that's going to pay 5%. You're going to make $5,000 over the course of the year. And you're like, woohoo, that's great. That's awesome. But then I call you up and say, hey, guess what? I got a bond that I bought a few years back. I need to get rid of. I'd be happy to sell it to you. And you'd say, okay, that's great. What's the interest rate on that bond? And I'm like, well, back then rates were lower. It was like 2%. And you're like, well, why would I buy your bond from you for $100,000 that's only going to pay me 2% when I could buy this bond from the market that pays 5%? You wouldn't do it, right? But you might if I lower the price of the bond. My 2% bond, I say, well, you know what? I'll sell it to you for $97,000. That way, when it comes due, you get your full 100, right? So you make that $3,000 plus the 2%, so it works out to $5,000. I hope that makes sense to you. That's why when interest rates go up, the value of bonds go down. And it's a bit, it takes a little thinking on a Sunday morning to make sure you understand that. Tell me in the chat, did I explain that well? Hello, Neil. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Buddy Rumble. Platinum is at a low right now. I agree. I've been looking at platinum too. And I keep hearing people say that there was a point not too long ago when platinum was twice the price of gold. Thank you, Ancient Tom. Hello, Joe. This was a snap. I appreciate you being here. We got 89. We're almost to 100 thumbs up. We're going to get there. Everyone's on vacation. Yeah, that's the other thing. When we think about the silver and gold price, I want to talk about some positive, two cool things about the silver and gold price, okay? And platinum, Neil, of course. Hey, thank you, Ron McAdams, my friend from Texas. I love Texas. I'm going to get back to Texas. I'm going to get back. Thank you, Ron, for the super chat. Always appreciated. I almost said always expected. Always expected. No, always appreciated. Never expected. I'll put that towards my daughters are having a lemonade stand today. The two words that I dread. Daddy, we're going to have a lemonade stand. That means Daddy has a lemonade stand. Nonetheless, two cool things going on with gold and silver right now. Okay? Number one, the precious metals. You may not feel it. Because sentiment is poop right now. But the fact is the precious metals have done very well in the face of body blow, head punch, wind in their face, swimming against the current, however you want to say it. You know, we're not happy with the gold price. We're not happy with the silver price. We're not happy with the platinum price, but considering what they've been fighting against, right? The old 5,000-year-old fighter, silver and gold. We got to be a little grateful for how they've done, okay? Because they've done okay. They've actually fought a darn good fight. Let's give them a little pat on the back. Here's my silver bar. Reach out to your screen, give them a little pat on the back, because they've done pretty darn good, right? We cannot forget about that. Something else right now. Let's live in the now, like our old friend Eckhart Tolle says. Let's be in the now. That's where we are. And right now, I got another positive about silver and gold. But first, right now, we are all together. Right now, YouTube. That's why they call it YouTube, right? I appreciate you being here. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I'll put out a new piece of content for you every day. I'll even be your friend. You got a friend. You got one more friend right now. I do too. I got a lot more friends, 200 friends, and we got 100 thumbs up. That means we ring the bell 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you. The other positive, big deal going on right now with silver and gold. Remember 3-4 weeks ago when gold was around 1900, silver was, suffering, platinum's been suffering. Guys, we're also in the summer doldrums right now. The summer doldrums. People aren't paying attention. People aren't buying whatever, okay? We're doing this well in the summer doldrums. I'm telling you, as we head into the fall and we got this confluence of factors, it could get very interesting. Let's get back to Texas, okay? Texas. I'll be honest with you. I used to kind of have a bias against Texas. Everybody I knew from Texas, like in college and whatnot. Hello, Clifton Moberg. Thank you. I will keep it up. I will, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys all being here and the nice words. I appreciate Buddy Rumble. Yes, we are making, Buddy, I'll talk about that, Buddy. But I used to have a bias against Texas. Because everybody I knew from Texas, especially in college, I was an athlete, Division I athlete, believe it or not. I was a full athletic scholarship. Nonetheless, everybody I knew from Texas was like, oh, Texas is the best. Texas, blah, blah, blah. And, I was like, Texas, anyway. Over the last couple of years, I really like what's going on in Texas. And their silver and gold legal tender laws that they've passed and other ones that are pending, it could be a huge deal. Pat Holland brought this up, and we're going to make a video about this, but I'm going to spill a little bit of the beans with you right now. Pat says that he thinks what could really break The COMEX, the LBMA are the state depositories, and things like what I love Texas too, and things that are like what are going on in Texas right now. Texas is talking about a gold-backed digital currency, a silver-backed digital currency. But the depositories, when those are built out, as they expand, as more states do that and need to buy all the silver and gold, that's another thing with the U.S. Mint, right? Why isn't the U.S. Mint making enough American silver eagles to satisfy demand? Well, there's a lot of people, there's a growing number of people who think they're not doing it. Why? Why aren't they doing it? Because they would break the COMEX and the LBMA, right? So they said, oh, we're only going to make 15 million instead of 38 million. I don't know. Yeah, big announcement. We are going to go on a road trip. We're going to have to get a bigger RV because we're going to go around the country and visit all you people. And we're going to have Coin Shop Chris. He's going to ride on top of the RV. Since he's not here, I can say that. Buddy Rumble, the Louisiana Gold Guru, we're going to go down and pick him up too. And then finally, we're going to go to the sunny West Coast and see our friend Neil, right? We're going to pick up the platinum, right? We're going to pick up the platinum and we're going to have an RV painted half silver, half gold. We're going to have sponsors. It's going to be a big deal. When is this going to happen? Well, when the price of silver gets to $85, right there. It could be happening sooner as opposed to later. Look, I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm very careful with what I promise. This will happen. I said that if gold didn't get to $2,200 by the end of June, I would spray paint my hair red. You can go search my old videos. I spray painted my hair red. So we're going to come see you, right? We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have barbecues. We're going to have a good old time. And yes, we will come to Texas. Absolutely. Right? The Lone Star State. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Clifton. Hello, waiting for you in Oklahoma. We will be there. Neil says 1979, 1980. Neil. Neil was a junior Olympic swimmer. Very impressive, Neil. Remind me not to ever race you swimming, because I am not a good swimmer. We'll come to Wisconsin. We'll come to Washington State. Guys, we're going to come. If we can get there without having to float the damn thing, we'll come see you. Okay? Sorry. Just don't tell your wife. Whoa, John. Wow. Thank you, John, from Idaho. I guess we'll be going to Idaho too, buddy. I'm not going to be doing much of the driving. Trust me. But we'll have some fun. All right, guys. So next week, right now, I'm going to make a prediction. Okay? I think we're going to have our $2,000 gold. I know. I guess I'm an eternal optimist. But I really feel like as the Fed gives us this nothing burger on Wednesday, I could be wrong, the market on Thursday and Friday is going to wise up a little bit and be like, you know what? Silver and gold are looking more and more attractive. Okay, now they come out with some hawkish rhetoric. Oh, there's one more big key thing. Another big positive thing to be excited about on Wednesday, and it has to do with where I'm sitting right now, St. Louis. There was nobody. Look, I don't know the guy, so I don't know him personally. I'm sure, I don't know. But there was nobody who hurt us, right? He hurt us. He hurt me, my feelings, hurt your feelings, hurt our pocketbooks over the last 2 years. Not Jerome Powell. No, one of his underlings who happens to be here in St. Louis, James Bullard, the head of the St. Louis Federal Reserve. He was the most detrimental force to the silver price and gold price over the last year and a half, 2 years. Now, I don't know that he was, I don't know. I don't think he maybe he didn't even think about silver and gold. I'd like to think that he did, but he, with his hawkish rhetoric, so many times would give speeches and it would send the price of our silver and gold plummeting. The good news is, guys, he's gone. He resigned from the St. Louis Fed. He's heading off to Purdue University to be the head of their business school. They put him out to pasture, or he put himself out to pasture, whatever, right? He's going off into academia. And I'm sure, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs will pay him $25,000 and fly him to New York City once a month so he can give speeches at lunches, whatever. But the fact is he's gone. I don't know who's going to replace him. I haven't seen who's going to replace him. But what's interesting, what's super interesting about that situation is this. It's good that Bullard's gone, but very interesting, they also said that he's not going to participate in this next Fed meeting. He's not going to be voting in the next. I think we might. I'm keeping it low, like the zero on the roulette wheel. I used to love to play roulette. People are asking about my old party days. I used to be a big partier when I was younger. We're talking 15, 20 years ago. And I went to casinos all around the world. I had an obsession with odds and gaming. But anyway, I think we got a chance that that we could get a surprise on Wednesday, okay? Because I'm just a little suspicious. My little spidey sense, right, tingling. Why is Bullard suddenly say, well, I'm not even going to participate in the Fed meeting on Wednesday? I'm going to take a short break. I'm not going to leave you. Don't worry, I'm here. I know there's a big mean teddy bear and some Barbie dolls there behind me and a unicorn. I don't want to scare you. I'm just going to take a little break and have a drink of water. Hello, Abram Taylor. I now officially only own one Goldback. Abram sent me 8 Goldbacks. I loved them so much that I slowly gave them away. I have one, and I'm not giving that one away. So, Abram, good to see you. Abram, correct me if I'm wrong, works with Goldback. Buddy Rumble likes roulette. Yes, Powell Fart Dust. I'm sending more. Okay, all right, man. Yeah, I love to give these Goldbacks to people. I gave one to this guy, right? Oh man, we got 200 people here. Joe Fowler, one of our regular viewers, came to my house because he works right up the street. Brought the bell, and I gave him the Goldback, and his face lit up. What a super nice guy Joe was as well. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Neil, thank you. Coin Shop Chris. Hey, guys, Coin Shop Chris is here. Everybody say hi to Coin Shop Chris. He finally woke up. Man, you know, he's probably in his PJs right now. Coin Shop Chris. Coin Shop Chris, our friend. Okay. Well, guys, questions? I'm ready. Hit it, huh? I also have 1 Goldback and 8 Silver Dragons. That's awesome. That is awesome. We got to watch what the Fed does on Wednesday. Not what they say, what they do, okay? It's going to be an exciting week. I am very optimistic, like I said. Right now, next Sunday, when we do a live stream, when we're together again, you and I, that we could have much higher gold prices, that we could break that $2,000 level. And guys, look, I got good news for you. When gold gets above $2,100, it's going to go from $2,100 to $2,600 in the matter of a very short period of time. It's going to go from 21 to 24 to 23 to 26, and it's all going to happen in about 6 to 8 to 9 weeks. Just my prediction. But I feel super strong about that one, okay? That prediction is much more solid in my mind than even my prediction that this Wednesday we're going to have the middle of the road. You watch, you read the Reuters, you read the Market Watch, Yahoo Finance, Wall Street Journal articles that come out this Wednesday. They're going to say the Fed just did exactly what everybody expected, right? Because they want, it's confidence. Again, confidence. They're fighting, they're battling for whatever little bit of confidence they can still muster up. They know it's eroding. You know, it takes a while. You know how things go in nature, like they slowly erode and then suddenly poof, okay? They're afraid of the poof. They're doing what they can to bolster confidence. But Thursday and Friday, Everybody is going to wake up. It's going to be very fun. It's going to be very interesting. And, we know at the end of the day, next week, not right now, we're going to be above $2,000 gold. That's my prediction. And we're going to have silver is going to take a little while to catch up, but silver is going to be above 25. I'm saying $25.64. You tell me. Let's just do silver. Next week on Sunday, right now, in the comment, tell me, what do you see the silver price being right now? Oh, yeah, guys, CoinShop Chris, I have another live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. And you guys provided me with some awesome, I've got 10 subject matters we're going to cover. We're going to talk about bricks. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about a woman who was killed because she was a silver stacker. Very interesting story, okay? So tonight, 2650 Snakebite says, thank you. Choke the Woke says 2380. Come on, I want to hear your predictions. 7 days exactly from now, where will silver be? I'm saying $25.64. I may be off by a penny or two, but I'm open to your ideas. $26.36 says Leaf Johnston. 2520 says James Smith. I like that as well. 2350 says Joe Folan. CoinShop Chris says 2555. 2555. Karen Wilson 25. Bleed Freedom 50. Ancient Tom 2243. Tony Erickson 2475. Our friend whose name I cannot read looks like Arabic, $21.75. I wonder what country you're from. I can't read your name. You're welcome, right? Everybody. Karen Wilson, 2504. Elegant Wasted, 2260. That could happen, guys. $30 by October 15th, says Count Derpula. Lloyd Dow, 2612. Fast Landing, good to see you. 2750. We the People, 26. Ricky's House of Crap. 2659. Richard Cooper, good to see you, my friend. Richard Cooper, 2475. Clifton Moberg, 2554. John, 2375. Buddy Rumble says that person is from Israel. Thank you, buddy, for that information. Welcho Services, 2467. Man, Paw Silver Stack, 2235. Gonzo, 2525. Mikey H, 2520. West Lockjaw, 2250. CoinShop Chris, Israel, thank you. You're welcome, man. Everybody's welcome here. Paul Mielik, 2525. Ron McAdams, 2595. Those poor truckers, yeah, our heart goes out. Truckers are having a hard time, and that's a hard job, man. 2585. Dominic. Hello, Welcho. E.H. Witt. Neil. Trade your green toilet paper for silver and gold. Yeah, I've got a roll of green toilet paper right there. I believe you can see it. That came from my good friend Richard Cooper in the United Kingdom. Richard Cooper also provided me with an excellent story that I'm going to share with you tonight about a woman who was killed. Was she a silver stacker or was she a silver counterfeiter? Very interesting. We'll share that with you tonight. Everybody loves gold. That's what I want to touch on, buddy. Look, here's Robin Smith. Well, a couple things. Everybody loves silver and gold. From wherever, my friend who I'm going to have here, and I can't say she's my friend yet. I'm hoping she's my friend after I have her down here in the basement for an interview on Zoom. Lynette Zhang said it the other day, like, gold is valuable. Silver is valuable everywhere, right? So we may all be from different countries, maybe even countries that our mainstream media tells us we shouldn't get along. But we get along, don't we? I don't care what country you're from. What I care about is that we share this enthusiasm for silver and gold. And we do, right? I mean, it's pretty darn cool. You know, she said something great, and now I can't. Oh, here, I got it on my stack. Here's what Lynette saying. Well, oh, yeah. Gold and silver are valued for their rarity. Okay, they're rare. Remember, you're in a spaceship. You're looking down at Earth. There's only so much gold and silver on the planet. They're saying we're going to run out of silver by like 2028. Anyway, they're valued for their rarity. and their broad-based use. So they're rare and they're valuable on the whole damn planet. I don't care. I wish you could see it. My grandpa, I took his globe when he died, and I know he's smiling at me right now. It's up here behind me, and I always think when I look at that, that's who I'm talking to on this channel. You guys are everywhere on the globe, and I have a smile. I don't smile enough. I need to smile more. I say right there, be funny, right? Smile. I am a funny guy, actually. Well, I think I'm funny. Anyway, gold and silver are valuable. I could spin that globe, Grandpa's globe, right? It's one of those, and put in wherever my finger lands. I don't care if it's in the middle of the damn ocean. If I meet a boat out there, people love silver and gold. And when I look at that globe, there's only so much silver and gold in the crust of that planet, right? Lynette Zhang brought it up herself. Hello, Nick. Hey, I'm getting a dot. Wow, that's a good, if that's what you're buying for, Nick, like you're purchasing them or when you're selling them, but that's, yeah, Eagles, I know the premiums on Eagles have come down. Now, what's interesting, you guys, if you haven't watched it, CoinShop Chris brought up something fascinating about American Silver Eagles. He did some in-depth research, okay? And there's a video. When you're done here, you can go watch it. It's one of the it came out yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. It says silver, $40.22. And Chris went out and compared all the prices being charged for American Silver Eagles. And it was unbelievable, the difference in prices in terms of what people are asking for American Silver Eagles. I mean, you gotta watch this. And again, CoinShop Chris never fails when he comes out with information. I mean, and let me say this too as well, guys. That's selling. It's bad out here. Interesting, Nick. Yeah. Well, CoinShop Chris does a lot to help the channel. So does Buddy Rumble. So does Neil from Neil Hahn's Dynasty. CoinShop Chris does helps a lot of people that are part of this Ron's Basement community. He does it for free. He's not selling you anything. As a matter of fact, I'm not selling you anything, right? That's why the super chats are so appreciated. I turned down so many sponsorships, and I'm not bragging, okay? What I brag about is the fact that I've got a great community of people who I won't present things to that I won't buy myself. So the only sponsorship I've taken was First Mining Gold because it's a stock that I own a ton of, and I owned for years before I even started this channel, and I still do believe in that company. But Neil sells kitty cat videos. Neil, we love your cat videos. Susie, my wife, we love them. We love them. Oh boy. Ancient Tom, best price on Eagles is $630 for a roll of 20. Yep, Tom, watch Chris's video. He dug in and did a pretty in-depth analysis, found some shocking information when it comes to these American Silver Eagles. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tonight at 7. I'm going to talk about a number of subjects that you requested. We're going to have a great time, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support, okay? And I'll see you guys all soon. Have a good Sunday. Bye-bye.